Now, the number of shop thefts taking place in England and Wales has reached a record high. Nearly 470,000 shoplifting offences were recorded by the police in England and Wales in the year to June 2024. And the Association of Convenience Stores says actually that figure is much higher because of under-reporting, saying that 5.6 million shop thefts have occurred in the UK over the last year. Now, one shopkeeper in Lincoln has spoken to the BBC and told us that a shoplifter had been coming into her store for a number of weeks, just taking anything that was packaged in a box, like jewellery and watches. Another shopkeeper in Derbyshire was caught on camera when he tried to defend himself. This because a masked man with a knife attempted to rob his shop. And then if we take you to Edinburgh, these stores on Edinburgh's Royal Mile, people can be seen walking away with expensive cashmere scarves, jumpers and jackets, all in broad daylight. We can talk about this more now with Chris Noyce from the Association of Convenience Stores. Chris, good morning to you. One of the figures really surprising there was the actual number of stores and the actual number of offences that are being committed. What makes you think it is so high, 5.6 million?
Well, when we talk to retailers, they tell us that shop theft is happening on a regular basis, often several times a week. And if you take that 5.6 million just for the convenience sector, you break that down per store, that's 2 incidents a week. I think if you asked any convenience store, would you take 2 incidents a week of theft? They say yes, absolutely.
So you think even that number's...
Even that number is much lower than the reality on the ground. And the official figures of just under 500,000. Bear in mind, that's for over 300,000 retail outlets. So that's one theft every 9 months or so for a retail outlet, and that is absolutely far and away, well away from what the reality is.
Can you just help us a bit more with those figures? Because how is it that we don't have a better handle on this? Because if it's a crime and someone stealing from a shop is a crime, you can call it what you like, shoplifting is theft, why is it that that is not automatically... So why is it not the case that people, your members, as soon as someone takes something, it happens, the incident has happened, why is that not recorded officially as a police statistic?
Well, internally it's recorded, and the retailer...
When you say internally?
So for a small retailer, they will log it themselves. Obviously, they need to log it, so they need to know what's stolen. In a lot of cases, they will attempt to report that crime to the police. There are different types of reporting for different police forces across the country. Some it takes longer than others. Some you can do it online. Some you still have to phone up. It takes a long time, and these retailers are busy stores. They're trying to run their businesses. There's often only 2 or 3 people in the store at the time, and they can't spend half an hour, 45 minutes immediately after an incident trying to report something when, in a lot of cases, what they get is a crime number and little else happens, and it's people they are regularly seeing, that are stealing on a regular basis, that have already been reported. Nothing has happened. And so retailers just get frustrated. And that's why there's such a huge gap between what's actually happening and what the police see.
There are regular... I mean, I went to a petrol station not so far from here, and there are regular people who those who work in the store know are going to come in and take stuff, and they can't do anything about it. Why are those people not being targeted more?
Well, those are absolutely the people that should be targeted most. They are repeat offenders, they're known in the community, they're known to retailers, and to be honest with you, they're probably known to the police as well.
Well, hold on. So there's CCTV. You're saying they're probably known to the police, and then you've got witnesses, store workers. Why is it not being tackled?
Well, I mean, it's a very good question. I think it's a matter of resource. What retailers tell us is that the police say there is just not enough resource to deal with all of these incidents. And a lot of the time, we're not expecting the police to come in with the flashing blue lights every time there's a shop theft. We appreciate that that's not going to happen, especially when we're talking about millions of incidents. But these repeat offenders, you're absolutely right. They should be identified because they're doing this across different towns, across lots of different retailers, stealing a huge amount of value's worth of goods. And it's those people that need to be taken off the streets.
When they steal these goods, I mean, there used to be that phrase, it's off the back of a lorry. Yeah, don't ask it, where it came from. But people are more resistant to that now. Or are they, to kind of buying stolen goods? There's got to be a market for this, hasn't there? There
is still a market for this, yeah, absolutely. And we heard about the impact of the cost of living issues on theft and whether it was people that were stealing to feed themselves. I think, actually, the reality is a bit more sinister than that. It's organised groups that are targeting people that are more willing to take a risk on something that they're not quite sure where it's from, but getting it a lot cheaper. And it's those groups that are stealing to then sell that on to those people.
With some of the clips we saw before, and we've talked about this quite a bit before, and you'll know this very well, extremely traumatic for staff working in those shops. And so nothing takes away from that. It is a horrible situation to be in. Out of necessity, are small shops putting a marker in their own heads about a certain amount of value of things that they just think is almost built in now to their business? The numbers by the end of the month is, I don't know, they've got a column down here saying £300. Well, there you go. That's what happens these days. Is that now almost built into the system? It's got to that point.
Unfortunately, it is, yeah. Not just the cost of crime, but the cost of investment in crime prevention and detection. And we estimate that when you put those two things together, for every transaction that happens in a convenience store, it's an extra 10p. So it's a 10p crime tax, essentially, on every transaction in a convenience store, because retailers, yeah, they have to build this in. And you know, retailers don't want to put prices up, but what it does do is it affects things like community activity. Retailers unable to sponsor local football teams, unable to help with community projects. And it's those things that suffer because retailers are dealing with theft all the time.
Chris Noyce, thank you very much from the Association of Convenience Stores. Thank you for taking us through that.
Thank you.